the Essence Festival. And it seems like you guys were more enraged, as far as Black Americans were more enraged, that Black Africans had paid to vend at the Essence and had more of the features and had more spaces than Black Americans. Now, I get that enraged, but you were not shocked or amazed or enraged at all that Target actually had one of the biggest vending spots in the whole Essence Festival. You not at all. Y'all talked about it a little bit, but you let that go. But you held on to the Africans having these vending spots, and then you took it a step further to say, starting, I think, August the 1st, you're going to start boycotting the hair salons and stuff, the braiding salons and stuff. Well, that's your right to boycott whatever you want, but let me lay this down to you right quick. And let me get into the Africans' asses, too. First of all, these Black American women especially are asking you to stop charging them too much. Stop being rude to them when they come into these shops. I've seen it for myself as an African from Liberia. So don't you dare come in my comments trying to act like they saying too much or whatever. And for real, American Black women, stop going to these shops, just like we boycott everything else in that sense. But have a conversation too, just like you're willing to get Al Sharpton to go talk to the white man about situations that don't serve us. Do the same, have a representative go talk to your brothers and sisters, because the fact of the matter is you can't sit down and have a real conversation with your brothers and sisters, but you want to quickly boycott us or them or us, because I'm African, so it's us. And I've been in America as a Black American, so all of that is me. And that's why I'm not going to separate the two. And I want y'all to cut all this division out and stay focused on the real issue, which is the colonizers at the end of the day. Y'all can always talk to each other. Y'all can always come up with better ways to do business. But to sit up there and put on anybody's platform that we have severed and we have a division because of what? Nah. This whole thing looks, in this situation, from what I see it looks like jealousy as far as not being able to be a vendor at the Essence Festival. And it seemed like because it was supposed to be American-centered from your thought of view, than African-centered. And that has been what the Essence vibe has been for years. I'm going to give y'all that. But at the end of the day, we got to come to the understanding that we got to be able to talk to each other. Them African braiding shops, y'all have to do better. Stop overcharging your own people. Stop coming up with ridiculous things. Put the food down. Put the kids out. None of that needs to be going on when you're doing somebody's hair. And if it is, take a break. And you don't charge them for taking a break for doing something that you want to do. And y'all understand, I don't care what language you speak in Africa, you understand what I'm saying. Do not go there with me, okay? We need to come together and unite against the colonizer. That's the problem. That's always the problem. It's never us against us. Fix it, and fix it now.
So not too long ago, I believe it was like the beginning of August, I had made a video about the whole Tyler debacle. You know, her low sales in America and how Black Americans weren't supporting her over the colored situation. It was explained like, you know, colored over here is offensive, though it may not be in South Africa. So I made a video about it, and I was basically targeting that. Like, you know, Africans have to learn. They need to learn, or they're going to learn how to, you know, respect Black American culture, because what you think is allowed in one country may not be allowed in another country, or what you think is respectful or not a big deal in one country doesn't hold weight in another country. When in Rome, do as the Romans. That's why that saying is there, right? I can't go to Colombia, and if they feel like something is offensive, I just still do it because I feel like I can. I'm entitled to do it, right? And so instead of sticking to the point of what I was making about how Black Americans are disrespected, you know, there had to be a whole bunch of, you know, comments and, you know, under the post that had nothing to do with the video, right? And so fuck it. Let's do the Tupac style. Let's hit them up. And I try so hard not to make it a Black American versus African thing, because I get what colonialism did. I get what imperialists did. I get the divide and conquer. I get all of that. But I try. But some people want to just be fucking, you know, ignorant to it or whatever, and don't understand the ways of the races, so they want to get involved in a war that's not even really there. So if you want to, in the words of Loaded Lux, if you want to be a foreigner and an alien that don't want to understand the concepts, fuck it, let's get abducted. Let's run it down. So I'm not going to answer to each comment and you guys are still commenting. I don't know, it must have like been refreshed and you guys are acting like the video was new even though it's like 2 months ago. But you know, the comment section is crazy, right? So I'm not going to answer each one individually, because and this is for an example. Some of the comments are, oh, Black Americans have culture, you know, trying to say it or sarcastically and facetiously. These are the same. Now these comments saying, oh, Black people have culture are the same people that when you go to their page, aesthetically, more than half of their videos are influenced by Black American culture. That's the funny part of it, right? That's the most hilarious part of it. Then there's comments like, please, you guys need to be worrying about your master Trump. You know, Black Americans and white Americans almost have two separate Americas here. You know that we didn't vote for Trump. The numbers already told you, especially Black women, you know, 92% of it. So that's just stupid. Y'all just say stupid stuff, right? Never mind the corrupt and criminal presidents that you guys had or prime ministers that you guys have and still continue to have, all right, that rob their people blind, right? We won't even talk about that, but sir, we'll talk about Trump. Like, I don't know what Trump has anything to do with me, right? Then it'll be like, then these Africans now in my comment section, they'll be like, oh, what, you guys were nothing but slaves. An African comment, we were nothing but slaves. That coming from an African is so rich. How did we become slaves? Because weren't a whole bunch of white settlers colonializing? That word always trips me up, and I'm educated as hell. Hold on. Didn't they come over to Africa and like run rimshot all over your continent? And then sell blacks, kidnap, abduct a continent. You got to remember, Africa is a continent of Africans, Black people, right? Black Americans only comprise 13% of America. We are outnumbered over here. So we already know that the system is going to be against us. We were enslaved because we were outnumbered and didn't know the terrain. Over the course of the years, we have made strides, but we have to catch up because for many years, we were enslaved, not knowing the terrain. We was uneducated. We was fed crap. We were, you know what I mean? We were being killed. We was being lynched. We were being unalived. So it's for an African to make that in the comment section. That's why I'll be like all that. Oh no, blacks can't keep on fighting with Africans and stuff like that. Man, fuck out of here with that. This ain't back in the day where we thought Africans loved us or we like thought that was the motherland and we should respect it and everything else. The amount of disrespect that was shown in that comment section because I said Tyler is going to find out or whatever not to come over here and disrespect Black American culture. The fact that calling us slaves, the fact that saying these are Africans again saying, oh, please, don't you have someone to shoot or you guys do nothing but shoot each other. This is rich coming from a continent where they have countries like the Rwandan genocide, right? Where they had the Hutu versus the Tutsi. You know, that's you had Darfur, you had Sudan or whatever that you guys were genocide, you know what I'm saying, committing genocide over there. You know, to this day, you have Black Muslims fighting Black Christians. In South Africa, Mandela was locked up for almost 30 years in a Black continent. No one thought about setting him free in a Black continent. You have a country over there called Irania that is saying white Africans only in the continent of Africa, right? This is going on in the continent of Africa where British settlers still have their families there dominating in business and money, right? Where in South Africa, 80% in South Africa are Black, but less than 4% own farmland there, right? So let's move all over Africa. I can say Angola, Nigeria, and I'm missing one, has high crime rates. You guys allow settlers to steal your gold and your diamond. But shout out to Ibrahim Traore, right? That's running. He's like, yeah, get the hell up out of here. And Mali and all those other countries that are aligning with him. Help me to help me. So when you make derogatory comments like that or whatever, first of all, if it's derogatory, delete. I ain't even reading all of that. And I can tell if you don't know how to have a discussion without being offensive and because I wasn't offensive or rude in my conversation about Tyler. I simply said she's going to understand how to respect Black American culture. And y'all took that as, you know what I'm saying, to be unleashed and to come for Black Americans. And I will never, ever, ever, ever allow that to happen because I don't know what your little colonialist or whatever are telling you about about Black Americans, but you guys have big, major issues in Johannesburg, major issues in Soweto. Okay, you have major Black on Black. Y'all falling for that hype. Black on Black crime in all those places. Okay, you're in Inkatha Freedom Party and the African National Congress Party. You guys are beefing with each other. I mean, we can keep on going back and back and back. Africa makes up for 31% of global murders. You guys want to get into a crime war against black Americans because you guys are falling for the banana and a tailpipe of how we are lower population here, but we do, half of the crime? Right, because it's systemic racism. So we know that black Americans was incarcerated, massively incarcerated at higher rates because we were going to jail for like 20 years for like a blunt or something like that, for a little bit of weed. What are your excuses? You're a continent of black people. We are not a continent. North America is not a continent of black people. Again, the numbers here are we are 13% of the population here. You guys are the population over there. So then how are you comparing cars to apples? So when you're trying to be all disrespectful, and then it's not just being alienated or pigeonholed to music, right? Do you understand what black Americans created? I don't think you guys do, because maybe you're not taught that. I understand that. In our schools, we're not taught about South African history, but I make it my business. I make it my duty to understand it so I know what's offensive and what's not. Back when I was growing up, there was Pan-Africanism. Thank God for the plights of black Americans who loved and cared about their black sisters or whatever, and that's what shined a light on what was going on with apartheid in South Africa. That's why, with the help of black Americans, you guys were able to get freedom and justices. Maybe you should read more, so you don't buy into the whole, we're just this, we're just that. If you ever had a heart transplant, that's us. If you're stopping at a traffic light in Africa, that's black Americans. We're more. The very apparatus that you write in your comments on, okay, we are behind this cell phone. Okay, if you have lights in your house, the carbon filament. I know you guys got caught up with the Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Edison of it all. Black man. All right, so maybe you guys should do a lot of history instead of thinking that we are just violent and we are just black shooting, and maybe not get so emotional just because somebody doesn't like Tyler and we believe that she was being disrespectful. Because what is acceptable in South Africa with blacks it may not be acceptable here. And I would know that and respect that before I went to South Africa. You get what I'm saying? But you guys don't want to do that. So, but before coming in the comments and talking about you guys got this, you guys have this, let's check what's going on over there. Come on, son. Like you literally are in a continent where you own gold and diamonds and you don't have access to it. Do we have to talk about the Congo? Do we have to talk about that? I mean, do we have to talk about what's really going on in Africa? Or can y'all just be like, shut the hell up and keep it to the Tyler situation and that's it? But if you want war, we can take it there too. Either way, you know what I'm saying? I can love y'all or I cannot.
My good people, how's it going? What's good? I have a very interesting topic that I feel like I just need to talk about, and I want to get y'all's opinion on it. Now, a little background. I have a friend, one of my LBs. He's Black American, right? And he asked me yesterday on the phone, why do African Americans and just African people, African descendants, African immigrants, why do they just hate each other? Why? And I'm going to give you guys my perspective on why. I'm going to speak from the African crowd and speak from basically what I've seen, what I've heard, like the African American or the Black American crowd views African people. So starting off with the Africans, basically how they view American people. Number one, they think that they're lazy. To kind of go a little bit further into that, basically a lot of Africans, Nigerian people like me, they're immigrants, right? So they've come into this country, and if you guys have checked statistically, right, a lot of African people are very, very successful individuals, and that's even coming from being immigrants, right? So it's like you tend to hear a lot of good things in African people in high places. So then when I say laziness, it's just like we hear a lot of excuses from African American individuals or Black American individuals or why they didn't make it. Not saying like I'm just kind of speaking in a perspective. Please don't kill me. This is not me. Please. In a sense, they kind of feel like y'all make it like Black Americans make a lot of excuses into why they're not making it. Like a lot of people don't want to make it out the hood because of this is not blah blah blah. It's like, fam, like I'm coming from a whole nother country and it's already looked down upon in America. So why can you not do it? So laziness is number one. Number two, I'm not gonna lie, the way that social media has portrayed Black Americans plays a very, very serious big part in how people, even just immigrants or people just outside the country in general, not even just Africa, look at people in America and specifically look at Black Americans. Like, as y'all know, like in film, thugs, gangsters, shooting, killing each other. Like, that's like the most popular scheme that they portray in films, in videos, and stuff like that. Like, all you ever see on the news or whatever it is black people killing black people, right? A lot of times. So it's just like, that's what's being shown on social media, and that's what everybody is seeing. So that plays a big part. So it's like, from the African side, it's just like, golly, like, these people, just be killing, shooting gangsters, this and that. That's exactly why a lot of African parents don't like dreads. They don't like all that earrings. They don't like the tattoos, because it gives off, okay, straight up. And this is something like a lot of my parents that I've seen, and even my parents, they had to unlearn. But it's the view that all black people are thugs. Now, keep in mind, I think a lot of this is, I don't want to say from trauma, but at the same time from what they've seen. Once again, it goes back to social media. It's like, some people just don't respect themselves, or in a sense of like, people are rude. A lot of black people are rude. Once again, I'm talking from what they are saying. Please don't kill me. But they see a lot of rudeness, a lot of disrespectfulness. Like, you would never really catch an African kid really like yelling back at their parents. But the amount of times that we have seen black individuals, like kids, yell at their parents and stuff like that, even if they get smacked upside their head, that's like, wow. So they kind of view them as, like thugs in a sense, or disrespectful individuals. Like, this video is getting long, so that's just part one. Part two will be how Americans view Africans. And also, you guys can say y'all's piece too. And just to preface, y'all, it's all love and unity, bro. We love everybody, and I hope we get to that point in our society to where we view each other as equals.